Frontal blessings. We are back with another video. A couple quick announcements. If you are interested in a 2025 yearly forecast reading, I am booking those right now. I do them from pretty much now until the end of February, late February, last week in February. You can book yours now, but I will tell you, as I've been saying the last couple videos, people are booking them. It's going pretty heavy right now, so at least a few days to a week out. So book yours now. It's a month-by-month yearly forecast of what you can expect for 2025. If you're interested in any other reading, kind of going to abbreviate these announcements. I offer various different readings. You can shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. I can send you a full list of readings, and if you want to book one, just send me an email with the day and time you're available, your full weekly availability, and the time zone you're in. All right. Also, don't forget to check out all the social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram. Primordial Chaos on 2 words on Facebook. Primordial Chaos 3 on TikTok. That's the way to stay up with all the latest happenings, whether that's here on the YouTube page or in the community section. You can stay posted there. That's the best methods to stay up on all the latest announcements and happenings and things I got going on in here at Primordial Chaos. Also, if you want to sign up for classes, go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, including the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. And keep in mind, when you join the Patreon page, you get access, not just from the day you join moving forward, you get access to everything in the archive, which is going 5 years back now. A lot of content, a lot of classes, a lot of work. So if you want to take that path to self-mastery to the next level, check it out. And last but not least, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to the podcast, the social media pages, my contact email address, and the direct link to the Primordial Chaos page to sign up for classes. All of that's in the description box of this video you're watching. I had to do some quick abbreviated announcements because I'm a little pressed for time. But I had to. You see the title. I had to. I'm glad we got frauds and fake people like this being exposed, but I had to comment. So the other night, I did a video on this like many other people are doing on the internet. It's a gang of people. And like I said, it gives me the opportunity because look, there's a lot of shit I've been wanting to say about a lot of things. But when the door is opened, I'm going to kick the motherfucker in and I'm going to comment on it. I'm sorry. So this dude, Billy Carson, the day after, or 2 days after, when I did the last video, he goes on his channel live and does a 3-hour plus rant, crying, whining, and complaining. And now this dude's taking the you-know-what route. He's taking the bitch route. I just got to call it for what it is. Bitching, whining, and complaining. Now he's claiming he was set up, right? He's claiming that he didn't know what he was walking into. He's also making claims that, and I didn't see this, and I've watched the full debate front to back. He's also making claims that they were intentionally stopping the video feed when he was trying to talk to Wesley Huff, that it kept going out. It went out 5 times or more, he's claiming. Didn't see that because it looked like he was clearly seeing and communicating with Wesley Huff. I'd want the video to cut off too if I was getting my ass tore up like that. But he's claiming that. He's claiming it's a setup to sabotage him and his family. He's claiming that there's some type of personal attack on his 12-year-old child, which doesn't get into depth about it. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Then he even goes further with the old woman complaining. He's claiming the reason why he stopped the debate and had to leave was because he's got 5 AC units in his house. One of them was out and his mother-in-law was coming to visit and he had to get back to the house because the AC people come. Just excuse after excuse, story after story. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Then he gets into how this guy, Anton, his friend, who was, I guess, part of setting this up, who apparently is his neighbor who lives 2 doors down. He's also laying claims that this dude is trying to sabotage him because he's always wanted to be with his wife. And, he never, ever made an attempt to talk to his wife before he was with her. And then he's jealous because he came later in and swooped up. This just sounds like some soap opera drama shit. And see, that's what somebody do when they're court red, when they fucked up or they guilty or they know they know they're wrong. They try to they use the divert tactics. And that's pretty much what this dude is doing. Trying to find any and every excuse to try to validate why he got his ass cooked in that debate. You just didn't know what you was talking about. And there's a couple more things I'm going to add to that. This ain't going to be a real long video because I am pressed for time. I wanted to do this yesterday. I just didn't have no time. And then to make matters worse, his wife gets on and does a video. And mind you, when this dude is talking, he's so arrogant in his 3 hour plus rant, which I didn't watch the whole thing. I scanned through it. There's no way I could sit through 3+ hours listening to that shit. But he has when he's telling the story, and the other thing, I'll get to that with his wife. When he's telling the story, when I got back to my house after I left the debate, I was so angry, realizing I was set up, that I had to take the elevator, because I have an elevator. He's got an elevator. He wants everybody to know he's got a big house. He's got an elevator. He throws these little sarcastic snots. That's great. I'm happy for any person that's successful. But just the dude. Anyway, his wife doesn't do him no service. She gets on, and I'll see if I remember to post it and I'll post these links in the description. You guys got to see this video. Apparently he's married to some Asian woman, which I didn't know because I don't get into people's personal shit. I don't care. I didn't know she was Asian. I thought with all this pro-black conscience stuff, she'd be black. But anyway, whatever your preference is. She goes on this rant about, how he was sick. He just left the hospital. So she zooms in. She takes a still from the debate. Like when you draw blood, you got like a thing on your arm. So he probably could have came from the hospital. He was so sick. Why the fuck did he go to the debate? Should have took his ass home. She rants and raves about how he was sick. He didn't know what he was walking into. It was a setup. And then her arrogance comes out. And it wasn't a debate, right? Because this dude claims too, anybody that knows debate decorum, you sign a release form. I didn't sign a release form. That's why he wasn't authorized to use my likeness, this and that. And that's why I took legal action. Dude, that shit ain't gonna hold up. First of all, you agreed to the shit. Verbal agreement is just as good. A verbal contract is just as good as a written contract. Now, don't run this legal jargon shit because you got your ass cooked. And now your wife's saying that you were sick and you didn't know. And then she gets arrogant. If my husband does a debate, he only does it for $50K. I'm just like, look at this shit. This shit turning into some drama shit, some soap opera shit. So they're finding every which way in the world to find excuses. You got your ass cooked. Here, another thing I want to throw out there. Where's all the conscious platforms that have him on? How come nobody coming to his aid? How come nobody speaking up for him? Well, Brother Rich on Black Magic 363. He's been on there a bunch of times spewing his bullshit and garbage, selling his bootleg products. Where's all those people? Black Magic 363, Dr. B. Cyrus, that's his boy. How come none of them have publicly come out and defended him? You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Real simple. Because nobody wants to damage their brand. Because when you damage goods, people try to keep their distance from you. You understand what I'm saying? See, let's call this shit for what it is. I told you. You're going to be in that end of the year class in a couple of weeks. If you're on Patreon, I told you last year, it's going to be entertainers, some prominent people before all this shit went down, did it? Well, what's going to happen this year? Going to be a lot of conscious community people, right? You're going to see spiritual frauds being exposed for what they are. All these people claiming they can do this, that. All these people who claim they got these titles and they know this, that, and the other. And all these people that say they can do this, that, and for you, all that shit's going to be exposed. It's the era and the time and the energy that we're moving into. Okay, so where's all the conscious folks? Now, if I didn't mention this in the last video, I'm going to mention it now. Prior to the pandemic, this dude was in that New Age community heavy, Billy Carson. He was in that UFO movement on the Gaia channel. He was doing all these seminars and conference with all these white folks that were New Agers, which, who cares, white, black. But my point is that was your target audience. Then after the pandemic, when the money dried up, now all of a sudden you on this pro-black movement. You popping up on Black Magic 363 with Brother Rich and and Dr. B. Cyrus and blue pill and red pill and orange pill and all the other pills, right? What? All of a sudden now you needed to shift it's because it's about money is my point. Let's cut to the bullshit. It's about money. It's about a brand. And this is why he's reacting the way he's reacting now, because he got his ass cooked because he don't want it to affect his brand. And that's why his so-called conscious buddies ain't coming out to defend him, because they don't want to damage their brand. And whatever, it is what it is. But here's some tips to show you a dude who claims to be the most world-renowned scholar of papyruses, tablets, and ancient texts. He has no idea of the process of how to debate. Now, I picked up some other things as I watched the entire debate, missed some things, right? He made a statement, and you never do that in a debate when you make a statement in its totality, if you can't back it up. He made a statement in the debate that the Atra Hasis, word verbatim, is copied from Genesis. You can't say that to a dude like Wesley Huff. So he said, well, show me. Give me an example. As usual, he used the diversion tactics. He couldn't. He goes somewhere else. He tries to just give some basic similarities, but that's not what you said. You said it was copied word verbatim from the Atra Hasis. Well, let me teach Billy Carson and anybody else that if you do debate, there's something called deductive reasoning when you debate. It's the number one skill you will use when you debate, especially on a topic like this. When you are debating the authenticity of religion and spirituality, and you're debating the authenticity of scriptures in this case, all he had to use was the process of deductive reasoning. Now, as I said before, in my esoterical occult Bible study class, I teach a lot of that stuff. Been doing it for years, the Sumerian tablets, the ancient Egyptian text, how it's connected to the Bible, right? Who the characters were actually in the Bible, okay? Were they the actual people that the Bible... He could have brought up so many things to prove his points using the process of deductive reasoning. For all those that don't know, what is deductive reasoning? Well, deductive reasoning is using principles, concepts, ideas, facts, information to reason things out until you come to a conclusion. It's that fucking simple. How could you so-called be the world's most renowned and get into an arena like that and you don't even know how to use the skill of deductive reasoning? How do you not know that? So all he had to do was he could have focused on, he could have took where he was going. If you want to bring in other precepts, he could have reasoned those things out to get to his conclusion. Because remember, Wesley Huff asked him, what methods of orology do you use to come to your conclusions? If you watch the debate, he asked him that, what do you use? All he had to answer was deductive reasoning. And Wesley Huff would have said, okay, that's all you had to say, dude. But you've made statements in video, oh, nobody can go up against me. I'll go up against anybody. Everybody's shown clips of it over the years. Everybody and their mother has put you out. And then you made a statement saying you never said that Jesus wasn't crucified. You said possibly he wasn't crucified. And then people have pulled up a gang of clips over the years where you've clearly said that. Okay? And then it's amazing to me, if you go on this channel, how people still gonna buy into the narrative that he was set up. These are sad, pathetic people, again, who can't stand on their own. They're looking for somebody to follow and somebody to save them and do everything for them. So anybody in their right mind who still thinks this dude is legit, you must be out of your fucking mind. Okay? But there are people who are still, because that's just the nature of what it is. But my point is, he could have went into, and to use the deductive reasoning factor, he could have went into who actually were the biblical characters. He could have said things like to Wesley Huff, where are the tombs of the prophets? Where specifically can we locate and confirm every prophet from Adam on to Jesus lived? He could have attacked burial sites. He could have addressed the Exodus thing. He could have went into the annotated Bible of a bunch of Christian theologians and scholars who have said that the Exodus more than likely did not happen. And it's not part, it's something that was part of other history, and they refer to it as the Hyksos who came from Egypt, or who connected to the Hyksos dynasties in Egypt. It's the story of the Hekakasut, right? You could have gave references, essays, and the annotated Bible. You could have got to the core essence and the foundation of the scriptures and the Bible, and that could have built your point up to where you were going with the Atra Hasis in Genesis. Using other ideas, principles, facts, or information and reasoning it out to come to your conclusion. Because I teach a lot of these things. And I tell people, look, there's something here to look at, right? But I don't tell anybody ever to accept anything I say or anybody else say. Do your own research and come to the conclusion. Because the reality is, he does have some points, none of his own, which are original, because he's taking them all from Zechariah Stitchet and all those who come before him. He's not saying anything new. Okay? But there are points about the Sumerian tablets in reference to the Bible, no doubt. Everybody knows that. There are connections with the ancient Egyptian characters and the ancient Egyptian texts with the biblical stories, right? You could have used deductive reasoning to have a conversation. You have to use that process with a dude like Wesley Huff. And he asked you clearly what system, because the subject came up that how everything is oral tradition. He claims a lot of stuff. He's talking about, well, when he was using something in reference to the Dogon and the ancient ones used oral tradition. And then Billy Carson says, the Bible is all oral tradition. Wesley Huff agrees. But he says, what methods of orology do you use to come to your conclusions? Any skilled scholar of ancient papyruses, tablets, and texts would have been able to answer that question. It's called deductive reasoning, dude. Come on, man. It's common sense. Anybody that in a debate in general uses that technique in some degree, form, or fashion. In a topic of discussion like this, it's what you use. Look, I'm telling you guys, because I've evolved past all that back and forth religious shit. I was in that arena for years. But I was doing debates and discussions. There was no internet. Was no YouTube, right? Back in the day when I was in that spiritual system of this so-called conscious movement, whatever you want to call it, what they're calling it now, or woke, we did, these were conversations, debates right out on the street, in storefronts, in forums that were open, question and answer, open forums where people would come, right? And so this was done in real time, live, with real people there. That's the school I come from. I've mentioned this to you guys before. I don't come from this YouTube generation. I got on YouTube probably years after everybody else did, right? So I'm very familiar with doing question and answer forum settings, and I'm very familiar with doing debates. I just won't waste my time on nonsense. I'm more than willing to have an intelligent discussion, but I've kind of evolved past that stuff. I only do it for the right moment, the right time, and it has to make sense. But my point is, dude, you don't even know what deductive reason is. How could you be a world-known scholar? That's number one. All this crying shit, you was set up. They was cutting the video off on you. You contradicted yourself multiple times. You was trying to ride that Sinai Bible shit. You got eaten up about that. Ancient Bible. You got an ancient Bible off of Amazon. Come on, dude, stop. When Wesley pulled his version of it off the shelf, say he had a facsimile from the British Museum, a whole cup, man, you knew dude was cooked. He had that look in the space. Billy Carson had that look in the space, like all I heard was, you know those memes on them videos you see at this moment, you don't realize he had him fucked up. That's all I heard. Because when dude turned around and grabbed that shit off the shelf, he was done. Then he goes, oh, no. Billy Carson goes, oh, no, I misquoted. It was the Gospel of Barnabas. And then you got eaten up on that. And I addressed that in the last video, how you could have used deductive reasoning. Look, you would have stood firm on your point. Wesley didn't have to agree with it, because I didn't agree with everything that Wesley says, but Wesley presented himself more professional. At least he gave you hardcore evidence and information of why he stands on what he stands on. And not all of it was accurate, but that's not the point. He produced his methodologies, and then there was a lot of fact. Yes, he did address a lot of shit, right? But he showed you how he came to his points. You couldn't either, but other than, I think, how many times he started off a sentence and everything, my opinion, in my understanding, what I think, this, that, and the third. Dude, you got to go a little deeper than that. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Okay? It's just, it's crazy. If you would have responded the right way, again, Wesley doesn't have to agree with your points. He would have just at least had to acknowledge, okay, so that's how you came to your conclusion. And then guess what? In debate the court, you move on to the next subject. Because you've clearly explained how you came to your conclusion, whether he agrees with it or not, and he's explained to you how he's come to his conclusion, whether you agree with it or not. So then you both can agree to disagree and then agree to move on to the next topic. And any good moderator would have did that. That guy moderating it, I don't even know his name. He was terrible. That dude, he just looked like he always wanted to interject and put in his opinion. He's a terrible moderator, so that didn't help dude's cause. If that dude is supposed to be Billy Carson's friend, he didn't do him no justice because he didn't know how to moderate a discussion. We wouldn't even have to call it a debate, a discussion. Because Billy says he thought he was walking into an intelligent discussion, and the wife was so dramatic. She got so dramatic. Oh, he was so angry when he left the debate and came home. She says he came up the stairs. He says he took the elevator or whatever. And he was so angry he almost passed out when he got to the top of the stairs because he was so angry that he was set up. Man, stop. Dude, take that L. Take that L on the chin. Take that loss. You got your ass cooked. That's it. Move on. The more you rant and rave about it, the more you cry foul that you got set up, the more you try to take this bootleg legal action, which you can't by now because everybody got a copy and a download of the debate. It's public shit. Ain't nobody defamating your character. Everybody's presenting it for what it is. So you can come with all that bullshit, knocking on people's doors at 2:30 in the morning like you a lawyer serving papers. It's comical, dude. That's how a child would react who didn't get his way. And that's what you're saying with this dude. He's reacting like a child who didn't get his way. It's just simple. You got your ass cooked. That's it. It is what it is. Move on. But I want to tell you guys this. It's just the beginning. All these frauds that are out here taking advantage of the public, taking their money, coming up with all these hustles and schemes, making claims and statements, giving themselves titles, positions of authority, claiming they this, that, and the other. That shit is over. I told you guys a few years back when I first came on YouTube, the day of the conscious pimp is over. You guys may not know what I was referring to, but you're starting to see it manifest in these last couple years, hardcore going into next year. The days of the conscious pimps on the internet are over. And for all you fools who want to stay in ignorance and follow these fools because you're too pathetic and weak to stand on your own, that you need always that Messiahite complex, as I like to call it. The Messiahite complex is you got people who claim to be spiritual and conscious, but all they can do is follow people. That's it. They can't stand on their own. They want to follow somebody who they think is going to take them to the promised land or the next level or is going to bring them salvations. You guys better wake the fuck up. It's getting thick out here, okay? And if you ain't a god/goddess, if you really know what that means, to be responsible, to take accountability, to be the navigator of your spiritual sovereign and spirituality, then you don't know what real path to self-mastery is about. You don't know what real knowledge and awakening is about. If you think some aliens is going to come back and save you, if you believe somebody like Billy Carson, Dr. York, or any of these wannabe saviors are going to come back and help you, you're sadly mistaken. You're going to be highly disappointed. I encourage you to get off your ass and do for self and stop waiting for people to do shit for you. Stop being mesmerized by people's garbage that they spew, pretending like they some deep scholars and they communicate with aliens and right. This is the same motif that we've been struggling with for years in the spiritual community. People still want to use this motif and still run this game like they're special and they're better than everybody else and they're above everybody else. They communicate with God or extraterrestrials or this, that, and the third. Or they get downloads. But man, listen, when are you going to get a download? When are you going to get a message from spirit? And stop waiting for other people to get a message from spirit and a download from the ancestors or they communicate with aliens. When are you going to have the ability to get your own personal message? So you just sit around waiting for people to convey the messages they got for you? That's because there's sheeple and there's people. Those people are sheeples. All right, so let's call it for what it is. But anyway, as I said, the day of the conscious pimp is over. I just wanted to address that. Go check out the 3-hour rant if you haven't. Go check out The Wife, not doing him any justice, but she crying foul, crying wolf. It's hilarious. Again, sometimes you just got to take that L on the chin and keep it moving. That's it. It is what it is. You know, no big deal. It is what it is. All right, other than that, I'm out of here. Again, you know where to reach me, all the links for the social media pages. If you want to contact me for a reading, my contact email address, the link for the podcast, a direct link for the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of those links in the description box of this video. I'm going to try to shoot another video later on another topic. It's just, I had to address this shit because anyway, I'm out of here. Infernal blessings. We'll talk soon.